Hello, I'm Howard Beatty, Director of the Evergreen Healing Arts Center in Chehalis, Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to talk about hypnosis and how it works. I'll discuss primarily the functions of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, those parts of your awareness that hypnosis reaches so effectively. Over the last few years, the use of hypnotherapy has gained enormous popularity as a tool that can be used in many ways to improve your life. Hypnotherapy is the use of hypnosis in a therapeutic situation, and it's one of many emerging techniques that can bring you to a new and exciting understanding of yourself and your relationship with others. But you will need to decide if hypnosis is right for you. So the purpose of this presentation is to give you some important background information about hypnosis so you can make the right choice based on sound information. In order to understand how hypnosis works, it's very important to understand briefly how your mind works. You have basically three minds. You have the conscious mind, that part of you that you're using right now. You have your unconscious mind, that operates in the background to keep your body working correctly without you even being aware of it. And you have the subconscious mind that controls many important aspects of how well you operate in your environment, and also how you relate to others. So let's first look at the unconscious mind and understand its three basic functions. Then we'll concentrate on the conscious and the subconscious minds, the ones that are really important for us to understand hypnosis and how it works. The first function of the unconscious mind is to regulate your normal body functions and to ensure that they continue to work properly at all times. Even when you're sound asleep at night, your heart continues to beat and you continue to breathe regularly, even though it's pretty shallow. When you're resting or asleep, you don't need near as much oxygen as when you're active, and you always breathe just the right amount to sustain your body. The second function of the unconscious mind is to ensure that the immune system continues to function properly to help you ward off disease, germs, and viruses. And even if you're injured, the tissues will automatically begin to heal without having to give it a second thought, and then you can go on about your business. And instincts are the third function of the unconscious mind. Even a newborn baby has inborn natural instincts to seek safety, comfort, and food. All these functions of the unconscious mind operate completely independently of the conscious mind, meaning we don't even have to think about doing them. They just operate automatically to ensure our continued existence and safety. And they'll continue to do so regardless of what we think consciously. So we don't really have to discuss these aspects of our mind any further, and we can look at the more interesting functions of first the conscious mind and then the subconscious mind, those parts of us that we need to learn about to understand how hypnosis works. The first part of the conscious mind is that part of you that analyzes the problems you have and figures out how to handle those problems. It tries to determine if a new situation is safe or dangerous for you, or if it's good or bad for you. And it tries to figure out how to handle this new event, how to come up with good solutions, based on what you consciously remember that you've experienced before through your five senses. But sometimes your previous experiences don't relate at all to a new situation, and the solution it comes up with may be based on incomplete or inaccurate information. The second part of the conscious mind is the rational part of your mind. That's the part of you that must give you a reason for the things you do. You see, if you don't have a reason for the things you do, you become anxious and nervous and frustrated, and you don't want that to happen. The only problem with the rationalizing part of your conscious mind is that it gives you reasons that are like ivory soap. It's 99 44/100% wrong. The reasons always sound good And as long as they sound good, we can go through our day comfortably without having to worry too much about our world. For instance, a smoker might say, "I smoke because it relaxes me. It gives me time to pause and gather my thoughts." Or an overweight person might say, "I'm overweight because I eat when I'm bored." Or, "I'm overweight because I eat when I'm nervous." Well, these are the kinds of reasons that the rational part of our mind gives us. But they're not the real reasons why we do these things. But as long as it sounds good, we can go about our business without having to deal with the real and possibly unpleasant reasons. The third part of the conscious mind is a part that can be very strong or very weak in different people. It's called willpower. Willpower is to the mind like adrenaline is to the body. It gives us a temporary bit of extra energy to get through a brief mental process, just like adrenaline can give us extra strength to get through a desperate physical situation. But willpower alone was never meant for us to cause any kind of a habit change. We try to use willpower to change our habits, but we're just not very effective with it alone. You probably know some people who've tried to quit smoking through willpower alone, and it just didn't seem to work very well for them. The fourth part of your conscious mind is your temporary memory. That's the memory that you need in your daily life to go through your day. And when that memory is no longer needed, it has a tendency to just disappear. This is just the way things should be. We don't want to have to consciously remember everything we've ever done and said. That'd just clutter things up too much. For instance, you've probably already forgotten what you had for lunch 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, or what the weather was like that day. Some things in our life just aren't that important to remember, and when a memory is no longer useful to us, it just tends to fade away and disappear from our conscious awareness. That's what the conscious mind does, but who you are, what you are, and what you believe in is a function of that other part of you that we call the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is a level of awareness that you usually don't have easy access to. Think of the subconscious mind like your internal organic computer. It's programmed just like a computer is programmed, and it must operate according to the programming that's put into it. When you were born, your subconscious mind, your computer, wasn't completely empty. It had in it the basic instructions and instincts that you'd need to live and breathe and move. And it was also open for you to begin programming it with your own life experiences from that moment on. Today, you're the sum total of everything that's happened to you, everything that you've ever done or tasted or smelled, and you literally couldn't be any other way than the way you are now because of your own unique life experiences. But remember that I said that the subconscious mind is also where your beliefs about things are stored. So let's look at this computer part of us and see how the subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind is where your thoughts and beliefs about yourself and about your world are stored, where everything that you believe to be true resides. Now, the subconscious mind doesn't make any judgments about whether something is good for you or bad for you, or even if it's really the truth. That's the job of the conscious mind. But as long as you believe an idea or concept or thought is true, the subconscious mind accepts that idea or thought as completely true, and it provides information to your conscious mind as if it were true. Once an idea or a thought gets into your subconscious mind's computer, it's taken as literally true, and your behavior will reflect that fact. For instance, if you really believe that you're not in control of your life, all other things being equal, you'll speak and act much differently from someone who knows that they can accomplish whatever they set their mind to. The second resident of your subconscious mind is all your feelings and emotions. Emotions and feelings are nothing more than automatic reactions to the ideas and concepts that you believe to be true. For instance, if you're a person who doesn't believe that you're in control of your life, you might feel emotions and feelings of helplessness, frustration, depression, or even anger, fear, or jealousy. But if you know that you're in control of your life, your automatic reactions might be those of self-confidence, self-assurance, empowerment, success, and abundance. Whenever you experience an emotion, the subconscious mind opens up very quickly like the lens of a camera, and that emotion flows up and out to your conscious mind, and you become aware of that emotion or feeling. It's very important to understand this relationship between your beliefs and your emotions. For example, clients who want to control spontaneous emotional outbursts of anger just won't be very effective unless they correct the faulty beliefs and thoughts that trigger that anger. The next part of the subconscious mind is all of your habits. We all have habits that we've programmed ourselves with throughout our life experiences. Habits are merely patterns of action that have become ingrained and reinforced by our experiences and our beliefs about ourselves. And there's basically three kinds of habits. Good habits, well, we all like to have those. Bad habits that we try to break or correct. And a third kind that we call utilitarian habits. Those are the habits that we create through repeated actions that cause us to automatically respond in a certain way to a kind of situation whenever that situation happens again. Like when the phone rings, we don't think about it. We just automatically go and answer the phone. The fourth part of the subconscious mind is your permanent memory. You've never really forgotten anything that's ever happened to you in your life, even though it might have disappeared from the temporary memory in your conscious mind. In hypnosis, we can take a person back and have them recall and even re-experience their own birth, or events of their early childhood. And they can recall them just as clearly as if it's happening all over again, every bit of it. Everything that you've ever done or said, or even just thought about, is right there in the permanent memory part of your subconscious mind. And that's how, through the use of hypnosis, we can locate a lot of the causes of people's problems and correct them in our work. What you believe to be true is always stored in your permanent memory. This provides a storehouse of information about your whole being and how you see and operate in your world. And since this permanent memory is based on what you believe to be true, it's primarily influenced by what you experience. So your personal truth with a capital T will be different from someone else's truth with a capital T, because your life experiences are different from theirs. And your experiences cause you to have different thoughts and beliefs about yourself than they have about themselves. Also, the beliefs and thoughts in your system of truth may change over time as you come across new information, or as you have experiences that cause you to change what you believe. I mentioned before that the emotions you feel are a direct result of what you believe to be true about yourself. Emotions and feelings are a direct reaction to the thoughts and beliefs that are in your own personal system of truth. Our beliefs and thoughts also affect the habits that we acquire, and many of these habits may depend on cultural and moral values. For instance, in the United States, we all have the habit of driving on the right-hand side of the road, and everything works very well. But when we visit England, the driving habits we learned back home don't apply, and we may have a hard time. And in many cultures, the value of a woman is significantly less than the value of a man, simply because that's what they believe to be true. And a whole system of cultural habits reflects that simple but incorrect idea. Ultimately, everything we think, do, say, or feel becomes a part of our permanent memory right there in our subconscious mind. And that's the key to successful hypnotherapy. Each source cause of every emotion or feeling that's bothering an individual, or every habit or pattern they want to correct, or every self-limiting belief about themselves is right there within themselves. And it's all based on that one person's unique set of life experiences. Everything about your life starts from what you believe to be true about yourself, and it's all there in your permanent memory. So now let's understand how our beliefs and thoughts are formed, and how they can be reprogrammed through hypnotherapy for a better, more fulfilling, and more abundant lifetime. The experiences we live and the information we receive about those experiences comes through our five senses and our conscious mind straight into the permanent memory of our subconscious mind. Everything we experience, whether it's important or not, and every bit of information we come across, whether it's true or not, first gets recorded in our permanent memory. Then, based on whether the conscious mind perceives safety or danger, truth or falsehood, it constructs from the information in its temporary memory what it believes to be an appropriate response. As a result, we sometimes misinterpret the events in our environment based on incomplete or inaccurate information in our temporary memory. Nevertheless, we can still profit from such an event because learning by trial and error, although slow and sometimes painful, is usually a very good method of learning what not to do the next time a similar experience or situation arises. Now, while these experiences and information are being recorded instantly by the subconscious mind, the critical faculty of the conscious mind, shown here as the CFCM switch, is deciding if the information received is true or false. But because it's kind of lazy, conscious mind normally lets everything it interprets reinforce previous similar experiences. So the switch shown here is normally in the true position, and our experiences become a part of our core beliefs or personal truth, unless the critical faculty of the conscious mind tells us otherwise. If the critical faculty of the conscious mind decides that the information is false, then the switch opens, and the information does not become part of our core beliefs or our own personal truth. And because everyone has different experiences and is presented with different information, their own personal truth or set of core beliefs will be different. So our core beliefs is that collection of beliefs about ourselves and others that we consider to be true. And these core beliefs are the basis for our reactions and feelings to those things that we consider true. And they also form the basis of the habits and patterns that we follow in our daily lives. This is what happens normally as you have different experiences during the day. Now let's look at what happens during hypnosis. When you allow yourself to relax into the very peaceful and comfortable state that we call hypnosis, the conscious mind goes into neutral, allowing the hypnotherapist to bypass the critical faculty of the conscious mind. So the conscious mind doesn't analyze anything it receives through the five senses, and all the suggestions, words, and imagery provided by the hypnotherapist goes directly into the subconscious mind, and it's all accepted as true. When a person enters hypnosis, the critical faculty is bypassed, but you're still able to hear everything that's going on. Actually, all of your five senses become sharper and more powerful when you're in hypnosis. Your inner senses of touch, sight, taste, hearing, and smelling, all much more powerful when you're in hypnosis than they are right now. Your ability to decide what you will do or won't do, or what you will or won't accept, is also much stronger when you're in hypnosis. So you hear everything. The subconscious mind hears everything. And when you hear a suggestion, you must make one of 4 decisions about that suggestion. And what mental attitude you have about that suggestion will determine whether or not it goes into your internal computer and change begins, or whether it's rejected and there is no change. Of the 4 mental attitudes you could take about the suggestion being made, 3 will result in total failure, and there will be no change. The first of these 3 attitudes is, well, I don't know. There's just something uncomfortable about accepting that suggestion. If there's even just a little bit of hesitancy or doubt, that suggestion is totally rejected, and there's no change. So there's nothing that the hypnotherapist can do or say that could make you do anything against your own moral code, or that would be embarrassing to you, or that would place you in any danger. Suggestions like these just never go into your computer. So even in hypnosis, you're in total control. And if the hypnotherapist gave you an uncomfortable suggestion, you'd probably just spontaneously emerge yourself from the hypnotic state you were in and instantly return to full mental awareness. The next mental attitude you could have is if you're neutral about the suggestion. You just don't care if you get it or if you don't get it. It's no big deal to you either way. Well, there's just not enough energy behind that suggestion to cause you to want to make a change. And it's also rejected with no changes being made to your computer. You may have talked to someone who said, well, I tried hypnosis before, but it really didn't do any good. Well, providing that they really allowed themselves to go into deep hypnosis in the first place, they probably held on to the third possible mental attitude. And this mental attitude will cause everybody to fail with hypnosis every time. And that attitude is simply, when they hear the suggestion, they say to themselves, I like that suggestion. Boy, I really hope it works for me. Yeah, hope is the twin sister of the word try. And to the subconscious mind, try means automatic failure. So you can hope and hope and hope all day long for something to happen. But if you don't do something to help it happen, nothing will. If you say to yourself when you hear a suggestion while you're in hypnosis, I sure hope it works, well, it won't. It'll automatically be rejected. The only way for positive changes to be made to your subconscious computer is for you to hold on to the mental attitude, I like that suggestion and I know it's going to work for me. Otherwise, nothing happens. So you see, you're the one who's in control. You're the individual that determines whether you have change or not. So if you follow all the suggestions and instructions to the letter as they're given to you, and you allow your hypnotherapist to bypass the critical faculty of the conscious mind, this will allow you to have positive changes in your life. The reason hypnosis is such a powerful tool to change the basic thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself is that hypnosis is the process for bypassing the critical faculty of the conscious mind. This allows the hypnotherapist to talk directly to your subconscious mind instead of only to your conscious mind. Suggestions given in the hypnotized state are all acted on by the subconscious mind as if they were actually true. So when the hypnotherapist suggests that you recall the very first time you felt a certain feeling, the subconscious mind obligingly recalls that event from its permanent memory and brings it up to your conscious awareness for examination and discussion. Hypnosis is a natural state of mind. You're going in and out of hypnosis all day long. You'd be surprised how many times your critical faculty is bypassed every day. For instance, recall the last time you read a really good book, one that was so good you just couldn't put it down. It literally had you on the edge of your seat, and you could even imagine yourself as being right there in all that action. And your heart started beating faster, and your breathing was deeper and more often, even though you were just reading something printed on a piece of paper. But your imagination had kicked in a big way, and your body started to respond to the action of the words just as if it was really happening. The thing to know is that to your mind, imagining an event is as real as actually doing it. Successful athletes use this all the time to train before actually doing their event. So when you imagine or visualize an event happening, your critical faculty is bypassed and your mind responds by activating your body responses according to what you imagine. And we've all heard of highway hypnosis. That's when you're driving down the highway and you don't remember driving the last several miles. You may not even be aware that your subconscious mind had already kicked in and said, "You're a danger to yourself and others, so now I'll just drive for a while." And then pretty soon you snap out of it and say, "Uh-oh, I'm daydreaming." And you grab the wheel a little harder and you're conscious again of where you are and what's around you. But your critical faculty was bypassed for a short time. Television is one of our great hypnotizers. All the companies and individuals who pay for commercials on the television are attempting to bypass your critical faculty with their slick ads that appeal to your subconscious mind. And if they're successful, you buy their product. If you don't, the commercial is a failure. So everybody's attempting to bypass your critical faculty. And when you're in love, that's the greatest hypnotizer of all. When you're in love, you both bypass each other's critical faculties, and those beautiful words of love soothe and warm us. People in a position of authority can easily bypass our critical faculty if we don't stop to analyze their credentials or the reasons that they're trying to get us to believe something. Politicians appeal to what they think you're passionate about. And some leaders try to get you to believe that only their ideas and beliefs are right and all others are wrong. And all these are successful only if they can bypass your critical faculty and thereby change the ideas and concepts, the thoughts and beliefs that you hold as your own truth. Hypnosis is all around us. But from the time you were born, depending on how rapidly you matured, you didn't have a critical faculty formed in your mind until you were about 5 or 6 years old, on average. Now what that means is that everything that anybody ever told you during this time, your parents, your teachers, your friends, it all became part of your core belief system. So what did you hear? What became part of what you believed to be true? Was it concepts and ideas and words about love and caring and compassion, happiness and joy? Or did those words and gestures convey feelings and ideas of anger, unworthiness, helplessness, and hate? Everything you heard, felt, and experienced before your critical faculty was formed went straight into your subconscious mind, your computer, and it formed the core beliefs and concepts about yourself, about how you feel about yourself, and also how you relate to others around you. And as you grew up, your experiences and the words you continued to hear added to that set of core beliefs, either for good or for bad. If the experiences you had after about age 5 or 6, or whenever your first conscious memories occurred, If these experiences gave you positive feelings and beliefs about yourself, then they reinforced the good expectations you had for your life that you were originally programmed with before that time. And your positive experiences later on may have even deprogrammed some negative beliefs you started with. But if you were continually shouted at when you were very young, that could even deprogram the positive feelings about yourself that you held. As a very young child, it's only natural to believe what you hear from your parents, your teachers, friends, or others that you look up to. And without a critical faculty, it's very easy for negative words to cause permanent negative beliefs to occur. And if you had additional negative experiences after about the age of 5 or 6, they almost certainly reinforced the negative programming of your very early childhood. But the good news is that we now know how to turn this negative programming around, and how to reprogram your subconscious computer to look forward to positive, empowering life experiences. And the way that can happen is through the use of hypnosis by a skilled therapist, one who has been trained to work with the subconscious mind and who has experience and a proven track record of success in doing so. But in all honesty, I want you to also understand that hypnosis doesn't always work. There's a small percentage of people, about 10 to 15%, that simply won't allow themselves to be hypnotized. And there's usually 2 reasons for this. And the first is that they're afraid of hypnosis or afraid of something about the hypnosis process. The most common reason for someone to fear hypnosis is that they just don't understand what it is and how it can be used. And that's the reason for this presentation, to let you know what hypnosis is, what it isn't, and how it works. Some people fear losing control. They think that the hypnotherapist can make them do anything they want to. Many nurses, teachers, and engineers fall into this category. They're used to having a very high degree of control in their personality and being able to control their environment, and they're just not willing to give that up. But the truth is that hypnosis doesn't involve giving up any control at all. Even though a person may be in very deep hypnosis, they've chosen to be there, and they've chosen to follow all the hypnotherapist's suggestions and instructions for positive changes. And that's really being in control of what you want to happen. Some people are afraid that the whole hypnosis session will be a big waste of time because they'll be so deeply hypnotized they won't be able to remember anything. But again, the real truth is that in the hypnotic state, your senses are even more active than when you're just normally alert. You'll be able to hear the hypnotherapist very clearly and even vividly re-experience all the previous memories that they guide you to recall. After all, what good would hypnotherapy be if you couldn't consciously remember all the details of what it is you're investigating? And sometimes people are afraid of revealing something they recall in hypnosis that they're embarrassed about or ashamed of. But the only person they'd be revealing such information to is their own conscious mind, or to the hypnotherapist who's bound by client confidentiality regulations. The hypnotherapist's only function is to guide you to your own full understanding of the issue or situation that brought you to them. Each licensed or registered hypnotherapist is trained in techniques to assist you in recalling memories from your past and to help in your own interpretation of those events. Sometimes a person just doesn't feel comfortable with the hypnotherapist. There's just not a good feeling of openness and honesty between them for one reason or another. Usually that's caused by a personality conflict where we just don't resonate with each other, but we don't consciously know why not. Perhaps it's one's choice of words or body language, or even just a gut feeling that it would be difficult to trust the hypnotherapist completely. But that's quite natural too. You certainly don't resonate fully with everyone that you meet. But there are some special people that you just naturally feel very comfortable with. And there's others that you just can't wait to get away from. And there are some female clients who feel very defensive or insecure when working with a male hypnotherapist, and vice versa. If you think or feel that any of these might prevent you from developing an honest and close professional rapport with a prospective hypnotherapist, you should simply ask for a referral to another one. I hope you now understand more about hypnosis and why it's such a powerful and effective therapy for working with the information and the experiences stored in your subconscious mind. When you establish a solid level of trust and professional rapport with your hypnotherapist, you enable him or her to deliver new information and suggestions directly to your subconscious mind. And this allows you to easily retrieve the memories and other information that allows you to make positive changes in your life, the ones that you're really looking for. I hope this presentation answers many of your basic questions about what hypnosis is and how it can be used very effectively to create powerful and positive changes in your life. If you have any questions, please see your hypnotherapist. And additional information on hypnosis, as well as the energy therapies available at Evergreen Healing Arts Center, can be found on my website, shown here. Thank you for taking the time to learn about hypnosis, about this exciting way to use the power of your mind to make permanent and positive changes in your life.